People say I'm great. I don't think that I'm great, but they call me great.
Just a quick video showing my remorse and condolences to the family of the Toots and the Maytals. Toots and the Maytals has been a critical part of my growing up, and if I did not take the time out to pay my respect, then it would have been disrespect itself to one of the pioneers who caused me to enjoy my tiny tot years in music. So Frederick Toots Hibbert, frontman of the pioneering reggae outfit Toots and the Maytals, and one of the greatest voices in popular music, passed Friday evening at the age of 77. It is with the heaviest heart to announce that Frederick Nathaniel Toots Hibbert passed away peacefully, surrounded by his family at the University Hospital of the West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica. His family said in a statement that they would like to thank the medical team and professionals for their care and diligence, and ask that you respect their privacy during their time of grief. Mr. Hibbert is survived by his wife of 39 years, Miss T, and his 7 of 8 children. The cause of death was not disclosed, but the reggae giant was hospitalized last month after showing symptoms consistent with the sea. He was later placed in a medically induced coma, where a rep for the musician said he was fighting for his life. I spoke with him a few weeks ago and told him how much I loved him and what he means to me, said Ziggy Marley. We laughed and shared our mutual respect. I'm fully in sorrow tonight. I will miss his smile and laughter, his genuine nature. Toots was a father figure to me. His spirit is with us, and his music fills us with his energy. I will never forget him. Rest in peace to the mighty and powerful Naya Fireball, he added, referring to Toots' nickname. Death comes just a week after Toots and the Maytals released their new album, Got to Be Tough, and the band's first full-length LP in more than 10 years, and now a capstone for Hibbert's remarkable 6-decade career. Hibbert was instrumental in not only bringing reggae to the world, but crafting its sound and, by his own account, coining its name in 1968. The song called Do the Reggae. To form his style, Hibbert infused reggae precursors like rocksteady and ska, with elements of traditional Jamaican mento as well as gospel, soul, R&B, and rock and roll. He could start a party as easily as he could deliver spiritual musings and social justice rallying cries in all in a voice that recalled the likes of Otis Redding and Ray Charles, but was distinctly Toots. Hibbert was born December 8, 1942, in Maypen, Jamaica, a town about 30 miles off West Kingston. His parents, his father, a land and business owner, his mother, a nurse and midwife, were both strict Seventh-day Adventist preachers. Hibbert, his brothers and sisters would spend their afternoons after school in church. Hibbert's mother died when he was 8, with his father dying 3 years later. As a teenager, Hibbert moved to Kingston, where he lived with his older brother John, the one who had named him Little Toots, and found work in a barbershop. In 1962, the same year, Jamaica gained independence from the United Kingdom. Singers Jerry Matthews and Raleigh Gordon heard Toots singing in the barbershop, and the trio formed the Maytals. The group cut a string of early singles at Coxsone Dodd's Studio One, including their first hit, the party starter, Fever, and more gospel-inspired numbers like 6 and 7 Books of Moses. In 1966, the Maytals won the first Jamaican Independent Festival Popular Song Competition with Bam Bam. A defining statement from Hibbert that opened with the lines, I want you to know that I am the man who fight for the right, not for the wrong. The group would win the competition again in 1969 and 1972. In the mid-60s, the Maytals were the forefront of a booming musical milieu and included other soon-to-be legends like Bob Marley and Wailor Scratch Lee Perry, Peter Tosh, and Jimmy Cliff. It was competitive and friendly, a golden time, Hibbert recently recalled in a profile for Rolling Stone. But just as his career was taking off with a tour of England on the horizon, Hibbert was arrested in 1966 for possession of marijuana and spent 9 months in a low-security prison. Hibbert maintains his innocence to this day, insinuating it may have been a setup concocted by music industry rivals, though he never went so far as to name the names. But despite this inconvenient blip, Hibbert's career hardly took a hit. Upon his release, Toots and the Maytals recorded 5446, that's my number, a song of righteous indignation inspired by Hibberts' incarceration that became the group's first major hit outside of Jamaica. Over the next few years, Toots and the Maytals embarked on an incredible run that would help define reggae and see their music spread across England, Europe, and the United States. There were hits like Monkey Man and Pump and Ride, and then a pair of career-defining performances, Pressure Drop and Sweet and Dandy, featured in the 1972 Jimmy Cliff cult classic, The Harder They Come. Toots and the Maytals released what would become their semi-null album, Funky Kingston, in 1973. They cultivated the kind of mystique outside of Jamaica that would cement their legendary status in subsequent years. Toots and the Maytals' next two records in 1973, In the Dark and 1976, Reggae Got Soul, were equally well received, and the band scored spots opening for acts like The Who and the Eagles. The group toured and recorded regularly throughout the 70s, and by the end of the decade, their music was proving to be instrumental to the budding punk movement. The Clash were on top of several acts to cover the pressure in Drop in 1980. Toots and the Maytals entered the record books as well, recording, pressing and releasing a live album live at the Palais in just 24 hours. The group split in early 80s, and while Hibbert continued to tour regularly as a solo artist, he didn't cut another album until 1988, Toots in Memphis. The record paired him with the storied Jamaican duo of Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare and earned Hibbert his first Grammy nomination for Best Recording Artist. In the mid-90s, Hibbert reformed Toots and the Maytals, though the time with co-founders Mathias and Gordon, kicking off another prolific period of touring and studio work. In 2004, Toots and the Maytals released a late career standout, True Love, a duet album that found Hibbert reimagining some of his most famous tracks, and an array of guests including Willie Nelson, Bonnie Raitt, Shaggy, Eric Clapton, The Roots, Trey Anastasio, No Doubt, Keith Richards, and Bunny Wailer. True Love won Best Reggae Album at the 47th Grammy. As a singer, he's amazing, Richard Stoll, Rolling Stone of Hibbert. His voice reminds me very much of the timbre of Otis Redding. When you hear him do Pain in My Heart, it is an uncanny resemblance. I think he knows himself. He is his own man, and he knows the contribution he's made, which is why he's still around. You know, whenever I get a call from Toots, I go running. Hibbert continued to tour regularly. In 2003, a fan threw a vodka bottle on stage during a Virginia concert that hit Hibbert in the head. He suffered a concoction and cancelled his remaining shows in June 2016. Hibbert finally returned to the stage, while he also threw himself into his work and his home studio, the so-called Reggae Center, even as he continued to grapple with headaches and anxiety related to the injury. As Hibbert told Rolling Stone, he felt compelled to keep working in order to provide for friends and family. Despite all his success, Hibbert, like so many reggae artists, was on the receiving end of an array of bad exploitive contracts. He says he doesn't even see royalties from the spins his music gets in the arrival terminal at the Kingston airport. Hibbert's work in the Reggae Center culminated in a wild 2-day recording session. Late last year, that resulted in Toots and the Maytals Got to Be Tough. The album was produced by Zay Starkey and features contribution from Starkey, Father, Ringo, Slide on Bar, Ziggy Marley, who joins Toots at the cover of Bob Marley's Three Little Birds. As a final offering, the role he has always played in communicating the things he's always communicated. I don't know how I had that idea that I would be a prophet, he told Rolling Stone. It was the Spirit of the Lord moving through me in a mysterious way. It was inside me to be a prophet. You have to believe in yourself, believe in God, believe in what you do. You take your time and you don't try to show off. A prophet can be a spiritual person or a fortune teller, but if you tell somebody something and it don't come true, they won't believe you anymore. I try to always tell the truth.
He's a foundation. He's a root.
Now there you have it, people. The great man, Toots and the Maytals. A quick run through of his history and his life. Rest in peace to a legend. Leave your thoughts below as per usual and do have a blessed day. I'm out.